Now that we talked about summation of the limit of two functions, what if I ask you to find the product? Suppose I ask you to find the product of these two functions and then find the limit. Limit of f of x times g of x as x approaches 1. What is this limit? Based on the limit law, we can separate this into the product of two limits. This can be written as the limit of f of x as x approaches 1 times limit of g of x as x approaches 1. We need to calculate each one of these limits and find the output. The limit of f of x as x approaches 1, we are looking at this purple graph. When x approaches 1, my y value is 2. X approaches 1, the y value is 2. Here you have a continuous function. So since it's continuous, there is no gap. Here, the limit is equal to the y value of the function. For this guy, you exactly have 2. But what about the limit of g of x? Limit of g of x as x approaches 1, it has 2 values. From left, it is -2. From right, it is -1. So just be careful here. It has 2 limits. So what's the meaning of that? Since it doesn't have exactly one unique value, it doesn't have a limit at 1. So you cannot calculate this product. So you're going to answer that. Since gx has no limit at x equals to 1, this product has no limit at x equals to 1. What if I ask you to find the limit from left, the limit from right? That's a different story. Let me erase this and explain how to approach that. So now I'm changing the question to find the limit of f times g as x approaches 1 from right-hand side, right? So one-sided limit. As usual, we can separate these two limits. Let us separate the limits using the limit law, right? It is the limit of f of x as x approaches 1 from right side times the limit of g of x as x approaches to 1 from right side. Let's start by calculating the limit of f of x as x approaches to 1 from right side. We are getting closer and closer to 1 from right-hand side of 1. So the y value that you have is 2. This guy is equal to 2. Multiplied by the limit of g of x as x approaches to 1 from right side. X approaches to 1 from right-hand side of 1, and then you look at the y value of your g, which is this blue graph. It is approaching -1. So you have 2 times -1, which is equal to -2. So the one-sided limit of the product can be calculated. There is no issue here. But again, if I ask you to find the limit of f of x times g of x as x approaches 1, I'm going to say that, hey, it cannot be calculated because function g has no limit at 1. Since g has no limit at x equals to 1, this guy cannot be calculated. Just one-sided limit.